Part 4. 1940 Crisis. In the first weeks of the war, Adolf Hitler demonstrated the most extraordinary qualities of determination and decision. Immune to fatigue, showing little need for food or sleep, he launched the successful invasion of Poland and soon afterwards prepared and carried out the Blitzkrieg, the lightning conquest of Europe. Led by the Panzer tank columns, his armies flowed over Europe in a seemingly unstoppable tide. Reminiscences of World War II by General H. Popplewell, published 1946. 1. Exodus of Evil. Felsennest, the eyrie on the cliffs, was close to Aachen, the ancient capital of King Charlemagne. It was Adolf Hitler's command post at the beginning of the war. The command bunker had been blasted from solid rock high on a heavily wooded mountaintop near the village of Rodert. It was a secure place, ringed with barbed wire and concrete gun emplacements. It was late at night, and Adolf Hitler had dismissed his staff. He stood alone in his uniform tunic, his soldier's coat, gazing out over the mountains and the forests, thinking of all the countries that were, or would soon be, his own. Holland, Belgium, France, and soon England. He wasn't in the least surprised when the doctor and Ace appeared out of the night, toiling up the mountainside. It was almost as if he was expecting them. He opened the door and called out to the suspicious sentry to let them in. Once they were inside, Hitler nodded jovially at the glowing lantern in the doctor's hand. "You come to bring me light as usual, Herr Doctor." "I hope so," said the doctor somberly. "How goes the war?" If the doctor was grim, Adolf Hitler was cheerful, confident, totally in command of events. "Very well, Herr Doctor, very well indeed." He led them to a wall map and picked up a pointer. "Poland is ours, of course. Holland and Belgium have been overrun, and in France my armies have encircled the enemy and reached Abbeville here. Boulogne and Calais have already fallen, and General Guderian's Panzer Division is about to cut off the only remaining port, some little place called," he peered at the map, "Dunkirk." The doctor heaved a sigh of relief and breathed a little prayer of thanks to the TARDIS. "A magnificent achievement," said the doctor heartily, "and the credit is yours, all yours. Mine, and that power within me, Doctor, the power which you taught me to harness and control." "You're too modest," said the doctor. "The credit is all yours. This so-called power is nothing beside your towering genius." "He's laying it on with a shovel," thought Ace. "What's he up to?" Hitler started to look tense, uneasy, haunted. No, Doctor. The power within me must have its due." "What power?" said the doctor scornfully. "Some pathetic ghost, wandering the universe looking for a free ride. I know all about her. The Timewyrm, she calls herself. Well, the worm bit's accurate enough, burrowing for safety into the mud of this pathetic planet. She's nothing." He held up the glowing lantern to illuminate Hitler's face. Suddenly Hitler went rigid. His eyes glowed brightly with a strange silvery light. "Nothing, Doctor? You dare say I am nothing?" It wasn't Hitler's voice, it was the voice of the Timewyrm. "Nothing and less than nothing," said the doctor. "Still, I suppose you've found your level, risen to the top like the cosmic scum you are." The eyes burned brighter. Hitler's whole body began to glow. "But then, what are you after all?" said the doctor rhetorically. "A tame witch doctor serving a petty human warlord, helping him to rule his mudball of a planet." Hitler's body glowed even brighter, and it began to change. It became a pillar of light, and from that pillar emerged a metallic feminine form. It was a good 7 feet tall, classically beautiful, and totally terrifying. It was the Timewyrm, manifested in all her evil glory. Ace shuddered, remembering the clutch of icy metal fingers in her heart. The Timewyrm didn't even see her. "A servant!" she shrieked. "I turned this pothouse politician, this street corner ranter, into a man who could rule a country. Now, if I choose, I will give him a world, a galaxy. I will rule through him, rule and destroy." "You pathetic cosmic poltergeist," said the doctor scornfully. "Go and smash a few cups, slam a few doors, frighten old ladies in the night. You're not a power. You're just a petty nuisance. You bore me." The Timewyrm hissed with rage. The doctor held up his lantern to the tall silver form. "You're trapped in the mind of a madman, and you know it. Soon you will burn him out. As he grows older and madder, and eventually dies, you two will wither away." He paused, then said with elaborate indifference, "Of course, if you were to be housed in the mind of a Time Lord. Do you offer me an alliance, Doctor? I offer you a fair fight, here on your own ground, away from the TARDIS. I can free you from this human's mind. And then my mind is yours, if you can take it. Very well, Doctor. I accept your challenge." Holding up the lantern, the doctor stared deep into the Timewyrm's burning eyes. "Then come out of your hiding place and fight, Timewyrm." There was a long, long pause. The air pulsated with psychic energy. Suddenly the Timewyrm gave a shriek of triumph. "I am free!" She swept towards them, leaving the crumpled body of Adolf Hitler behind her on the floor. "So you dare to challenge me, Doctor? Do you know who I am, little man? I am the Timewyrm. I am invincible. I shall swallow your mind, take over your TARDIS, and then I shall be the supreme power in the universe." As the Timewyrm bore down on the doctor, she grew and grew until she filled the room. The doctor touched a control in the base of the lantern, and it burned with the fierce brightness of a star. As the Timewyrm swooped down on him, he thrust the lantern full into her face. She lashed her tail angrily, battering at the globe of brilliance. Then she exploded in a sudden burst of light, vanishing with a last terrible howl. Suddenly, everything was quiet. There on the floor crouched Adolf Hitler, sobbing. The doctor lifted him into a seat. "The power has left me, Doctor," whispered Hitler. "What must I do? Tell me." The doctor leaned over him, staring into the terrified eyes, speaking in a calm, positive voice. "You must let the British army go. Even though you are at war with the British, you respect them, you admire their empire. Let their army go home, postpone your invasion plan, and eventually they will make peace with you. They will become your allies against the Bolshevik hordes, your real enemy." Yes, you are right," said Hitler feverishly. The doctor handed him a field telephone. "You are the Führer. Give the order." Hitler took the phone and managed a shaky version of his old commanding tone. "This is the Führer. Send this message to General Guderian immediately. There is to be no further advance on Dunkirk. No further advance." "That's the idea," said the doctor. "Remember, no advance on Dunkirk. Postpone the invasion of England. Come on, Ace. We must go." Hitler looked up in alarm. "You are leaving, Doctor, but what will become of me?" The doctor paused for a moment in the doorway. "You will fulfill your destiny," he said. The doctor and Ace disappeared into the night. The Führer is terribly nervous. He seems frightened by his own success, and he is unwilling to take any risks. He keeps trying to hold us back. This order to halt before Dunkirk is utter madness. The Secret Diary of General Rommel. In Dunkirk, the long lines of weary soldiers were filing out to sea, where the little ships waited to ferry them from the beaches to the waiting destroyers. The howling Stukas dive-bombed the men and the ships, but the encircling Nazi armies still held back. In 7 days, over 300,000 men were evacuated. We British said it was a miracle, and at home in England it was hailed as a great victory. But as Winston Churchill was quick to remind us, wars are not won by evacuations. There was much to be done, and our task was only beginning. But at least we had survived to continue the fight. Reminiscences of World War II, General Popplewell.